work on our layer 4 syllabication. First word. I see that it has a suffix on the end, so I'm going to go ahead and mark the suffix. And then when I look at the root word, I see a consonant LE, so I'm going to go ahead and circle the consonant LE. And then when I mark my vowel in the first syllable, that's as far as I need to go because there's no vowels behind it. So I have a closed syllable, a consonant LE syllable, and a suffix. So if I do read my syllables, I have gentleness, and that's a word I've heard of. So we'll go on to the next word. When I look over the word to begin with, I see a magic E. So I'm going to go ahead and just mark that magic E there at the end. So I mark the first two vowels, draw a bridge, label the consonants. I see I have a V-C-C-V pattern, so I'm going to divide between the consonants. I'm going to go on and find my next vowel, draw a bridge. And when I go to mark my consonants, I notice I have an R blend. So I'm going to mark the blend TR, and then I have a consonant N and a consonant TR. V-C-C-V, I divide between the consonants. Now back to the first syllable, I have a closed syllable. Second syllable is a closed syllable, and the last syllable is a magic E. So let's do our sounds. Concentrate. And that's a word I've heard before. So let's move on to the next word. I have Y acting as a vowel. So I'm going to mark the Y and the I, draw a bridge, label the consonant. I go to the next one and I see, to mark my next vowel, I see a bossy R. So I'm going to underline the bossy R, mark it as a vowel, and draw my bridge, and label my consonants. Now let's work on dividing. When I first divide, I'm going to divide between the vowel and the consonant in my VCV. And then in my VCCV, I divide between the consonants. So CY would be an open syllable. The next syllable would be a closed syllable, and then a bossy R syllable. So sounding it out, I have cylinder. That doesn't quite sound right. So I'm going to move my marking to between the consonant and vowel. And that would change this to a closed syllable. And let's try that. Cylinder. And that is a word I've heard. To the next word, I mark my vowels. I have the O and the OU. Draw a bridge. Mark my consonant, and then I'm going to divide my syllables between the vowel and the consonant. When I divide there, I have an open syllable, and then I have a diphthong syllable. So this would be profound, and that is a word I've heard. To the next word, I mark my vowels, and I have the vowel team EE and the diphthong AW. Draw a bridge, mark my consonant. Again, when I have a VCV, I first try between the vowel and the consonant. So this would make this an open syllable and a diphthong syllable. So my word would be seesaw, and that is a word I've heard. My last word, I mark my vowels, V, put a V under the A and under the E, draw a bridge, and mark my consonant. I go and find my next vowel, mark it, draw a bridge, and label my consonants. Now I'm going to work on dividing. In my VCV syllable, I'm going to try going like I do first between my vowel and my consonant, and then on my VCCV syllable, I'm going to go between the consonants. So when I label, I have an open syllable, a closed syllable, and a closed syllable. So that would be majestic. That does not sound like a familiar word. So I'm going to try marking between my consonant and my vowel. That would change this to a closed syllable. That's still closed and that's still closed. So then that would be majestic. Majestic. Still doesn't quite sound right because that A is more of an sound in a word that I know, that's majestic. So I'm going to mark that as a schwa syllable, and then I would have majestic, majestic.